Yo, hold up, did Jim Jones just throw another Harlem-sized grenade into the hip-hop world? Are we seriously watching a grown man wage a social media war on legends he once called family? Jim Jones, the self-proclaimed king of keeping it real, is at it again. And this time, Ma Dollary and Kamran are squarely in the crosshairs. But here's the kicker. He's not just talking music. Nah, he's questioning street credibility, loyalty, and somehow, the very essence of what it means to be Harlem royalty. Did he really just claim that the iconic duo ain't built like that? Did he actually forget the millions of views, sponsorships, and empire-level moves that Madala and Cam have built over the last 2 decades? Fans are losing it. Twitter's ablaze, Instagram stories are popping off, and the shade is thicker than a velvet Dipset jacket. And you know what? This isn't even about bars or albums anymore. It's personal, it's messy, and it's exactly the kind of chaos that makes the internet go wild. So, strap in, because we're diving deep into the drama, the dirt, and the jaw-dropping claims that have Harlem gossip running hotter than a summer subway platform. Are you ready to see Jim Jones roast his own legacy while the rest of Harlem just laughs? Let's get into it. Jim Jones, Ma Dollary and Kamran, 3 names that have defined Harlem for decades, are back in the spotlight. But this time,
So when they didn't have it, not saying they couldn't get it, but they know the situations that they were in. You know what I mean? As school kids, and
they were in school. They got kicked out. You said
both of them got kicked.
Both of them got kicked out, and you gave them food and shelter. How did you have money for food and shelter?
I learned how to do it.
What you talking about, man?
They came live with me in the projects in my grandma's house.
In your grandmother's house. Oh, but she was gone.
Passed away.
So you got the apartment to yourself. They come, but you still got to pay the rent.
Yeah, I paid the rent. I paid for the love rec. I was Mace manager. I was a hustler. I always been a hustler.
You were in the streets.
I know how to make money.
Why are we going to Jomo's house? I heard the new you did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. So yeah, I would bring some business over there to sometime. A little maybe.
How much do you credit you being successful to Cam?
I credit a lot to Cam, but I also credit a lot to us, because behind closed doors, it was us that put him in that position.
You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan, nigga. A fan.
I mean, he was doing music a long time and things like that, but it was a pivotal moment where, before he got signed, them 2 years was very crucial to everything that we did together in his journey of becoming who Cam is.
Do you remember how we met? Pause. Not met. How you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. Yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit.
There wasn't times where Cam had to do what he had to do to make $1 and things like that. But from the beginning, I always had to make $1 because I always been on my own.
Yeah.
I've raised my whole family since I was a teenager. I used to hustle and get my mom's money. You heard it. My first job in this thing was a hype man for Cam. You know what I mean? But I started as Cam partner. We came in this mission wholeheartedly. I knew what my job was. He knew what his job was.
What was your job?
My job was to make sure nothing happened to that man while he was trying to be successful, because I knew that if he be successful, then he's going to turn around and make him successful. And that's exactly what happened.
it's not for the music. Jim Jones has resurfaced with claims so wild and so dripping with ego that the streets themselves are buzzing with disbelief. Is he really trying to rewrite the narrative of Harlem's legacy? Is he seriously questioning the credibility of Ma Dollary and Kamran, 2 men who have spent years building empires, turning charisma into media dominance, and earning respect on every level? It all started with a podcast rant where Jim decided to play judge and jury over authenticity and loyalty, calling into question the very foundation of the duo's success. Fans were quick to respond, flooding social media with reactions, memes, and heated debates, making it clear that nobody is buying the idea that Ma Dollary and Cam are somehow not built like that. Historically, all 3 were cornerstones of Harlem's hip-hop scene. Jim was the muscle, the loud, charismatic street voice. Kamran was the visionary with an eye for style and branding. And Ma Dollary provided the bridge between mainstream appeal and street credibility. Their combined energy made Harlem a cultural powerhouse. But over time, cracks appeared. Alliances shifted. The Dipset breakup left scars. And while Cam and Ma Dollary evolved into media moguls, Jim seemed to stall. Relying on old grudges and loud proclamations to maintain relevance, he often references giving them shelter or support in their early days as proof of his influence. But the tone comes off as defensive rather than celebratory. Meanwhile, Ma Dollary and Cam have quietly turned their history into a business empire. Their podcast, viral content, celebrity collaborations, and sponsorships showcase a new level of Harlem influence, proving that evolution is more valuable than nostalgia. Insider accounts suggest Jim's obsession with proving who is real Harlem has been simmering for over a decade. Anonymous sources reveal that he sees every move they make as a challenge to his legacy. And instead of innovating or creating his own lane, he lashes out publicly. Interviews only fuel the fire. Jim doubles down on his critiques, sharing stories of early hustles, apartments, and school struggles as if to remind the world of his sacrifices, but the public reads it as bitterness. Fans dissect his words, comparing them to past statements where he praised Cam and MAE, exposing contradictions and amplifying the drama. Social media explodes with debates, memes, and clips showing him as an obsessed ex who can't let go, while Ma$E and Cam continued to thrive without responding directly. The contrast between evolution and stagnation is stark. Cam and Ma$E use history as fuel for growth, while Jim uses it as ammunition for criticism. Every new statement he makes only reinforces the idea that he's more concerned with proving points than building legacy. His commentary, meant to establish authority, instead paints a picture of a man trapped in past glories, watching peers ascend and feeling the pressure of irrelevance. In the eyes of fans, Jim's rants are less about truth and more about ego, making him the polar opposite of the calm, calculated, and successful figures he criticizes. Harlem is watching, history is evident, and the public knows who is thriving and who is clinging desperately to old validation. The drama didn't stop with Jim's words, because as soon as his latest podcast rant hit the internet, the reaction was instantaneous and explosive. Social media platforms erupted with fans dissecting every syllable, replaying clips, and comparing old interviews, and it quickly became clear that the public was not on his side. People were pulling up footage of Ma$E and Cam's massive successes, their viral content, sponsorship deals, and loyal fan bases, and juxtaposing that with Jim's claims of being the ultimate Harlem authority. And the contrast could not have been more obvious. While he was out here questioning their authenticity, the duo was quietly dominating the media landscape, building shows that mixed comedy, culture, and entertainment with a Harlem flair that fans could relate to. And insiders say that Jim's obsession with proving who is real Harlem has been simmering for years, fueled by jealousy and a sense.
Why are we going to Jomo's house? I heard the new you did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. So yeah, I would bring some over there sometime. A little maybe.
How much do you credit you being successful to Cam?
I credit a lot to Cam, but I also credit a lot to us, because behind closed doors, it was us that put him in that position.
You was a fan. You begged us. You are a fan, nigga. A fan.
I mean, he was doing music a long time and things like that, but it was a pivotal moment where, before he got signed, them 2 years was very crucial to everything that we did together in his journey of becoming who Cam is.
Do you remember how we met? Pause. Not met. How you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. Yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit.
There wasn't times where Cam had to do what he had to do to make $1 and things like that. But from the beginning, I always had to make $1 because I've always been on my own.
Yeah.
I've raised my whole family since I was a teenager. I used to hustle and get my mom's money. You heard it. My first job in this thing was a hype man for Cam. You know what I mean? But I started as Cam partner. We came in this mission wholeheartedly. I knew what my job was. He knew what his job was.
What was your job?
My job was to make sure nothing happened to that man while he was trying to be successful, because I knew that if he be successful, then he gonna turn around and make him successful. And that's exactly what happened for them.
You was not there, man. You wasn't there. You were fanned out and you begged us to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in.
Jealousy and a sense that his role in history is being overlooked. Sources close to the scene claimed that every time Ma$E or Cam make a move, Jim feels the pressure to assert himself, and instead of creating new platforms or evolving his career, he lashes out, turning old grudges into public spectacles. And the irony is rich, because while he's trying to assert dominance, the narrative continues to favor those he criticizes. Ma$E and Cam's legacy grows, their reach expands, and their influence extends beyond Harlem to national and global levels. Meanwhile, Jim's commentary is dissected by fans who mock, critique, and meme him into oblivion, with phrases like rent-free in his head, trending and commentary, comparing him to someone stuck in the past, refusing to move forward. It's almost theatrical how each statement he makes seems to amplify his irrelevance, while increasing their visibility, and the pattern is unmistakable. Every rant, every critique, every story about hustles or early connections becomes material for social media, and it only cements the idea that Jim is reacting out of ego and frustration rather than making meaningful contributions. Even within interviews, his attempts to contextualize his role in their early careers are met with skepticism. because fans have seen both sides of the story. Clips where he praised Cam as a visionary and Ma Dollar E as a mentor are juxtaposed with these new claims, creating a narrative full of contradictions. The public can sense the bitterness, and every attempt to justify his perspective falls flat because the evidence is clear. Maze and Cam's empire speaks louder than words. Their media dominance and financial achievements are visible proof of their evolution, while Jim's role now seems more performative than productive, and the fallout extends beyond just fan reactions. Commentators, cultural critics, and even fellow artists have weighed in, noting that this kind of public dispute only highlights the difference between growth and stagnation. While the duo continues building brands, creating content, and expanding their influence, Jim's obsession with past recognition keeps him locked in commentary mode, and the entire situation feels like a case study in how pride, ego, and inability to evolve can turn someone from a cultural figure into a cautionary tale. And the stakes feel higher because this isn't just about opinions. It's about legacy, and the public is watching, dissecting every word, every gesture, and every clip, ultimately showing that while Jim Jones is busy proving points no one asked for, Ma Dollar E and Kamran are quietly and effectively proving their dominance, building an empire, and redefining Harlem influence for a new era. As the controversy continues to simmer, the tension between Jim Jones, Ma Dollar E, and Kamran has reached a level where it feels less like a feud and more like a case study in ego versus evolution. Every comment Jim makes online is dissected by fans and cultural critics alike. His claims about authenticity and loyalty are met with skepticism because Ma Dollar E and Kamran have clearly established their own lane, building platforms, creating content, and turning Harlem influence into tangible success. While Jim's attempts to assert his dominance through rants and nostalgia-driven narratives only highlight the gap between past glory and current relevance. Insiders say that this pattern has been building for years, with Jim feeling threatened by the duo's ability to grow and adapt, while he remains focused on defending an identity that no one is challenging. Social media has become the battlefield. Memes, clips, and viral commentary are circulating nonstop, portraying Jim as a man stuck in the past, obsessing over a version of Harlem.
What you think Cam gonna do? You think he's just gonna sit there and you think he gonna and Jim rhymed first? You know what I mean? Well, actually Cam and 50 said what they was talking about what they said. Jim heard that. He came back and said that. Now motherfucking Cam, what you think Cam gonna do? Cam is a lyricist. He's gonna make you feel any type of stupidity way that's possible. He's gonna say shit and basically kick you in your nuts. You know what I mean? He's gonna rip your heart out. Remember the old school when they was doing electric boogie and they grabbed the nigga by the heart, pulled the heart, and they just had it in their head, and bit the shit through it, stomped on the shit. That's what you gonna hear. It's basically they's going back and forth. After that, like I said, it went to the money. That's the whole point of the situation. Yeah, he gonna say Jim is from the Bronx. Everybody else on the side, your group of niggas, be like, yeah, man, in honor of Peanut, he's a peanut gallery.
Harlem that no longer exists, while Ma Dollar E and Cam continue expanding their brand, attracting millions of views, celebrity collaborations, and sponsorships. The irony is that every time Jim tries to attack their credibility, it backfires, elevating the duo even further. Fans point out the contradictions in his statements, recalling interviews where he praised Cam's vision and Ma-E's influence, making his current attacks feel more like a bitter attempt at relevance than a genuine critique. Even public reactions in podcasts and online forums suggest that Harlem culture itself is watching and judging, and the consensus is clear: evolution wins, bitterness loses, and the legacy of Ma Dollar E and Kamran continues to grow while Jim's focus on past grievances keeps him locked in a cycle of commentary without progress. The financial and media achievements of the duo are tangible proof that success no longer relies solely on street credibility. They have translated their history into influence, money.
It's like battling. It's like rap. It's like motherfucking rap. Jim, whatever, but they wasn't. They was on platforms. And Jim said what he said. Jim, I think what he said, something about inviting him to his so he said he said they on my dick, right? That's something that's serious. Like you hear that, you like, ooh, it's like Jim caught a ball. Oh.
Do you consider Jim a Harlem guy or no?
Jim basically was with Killer for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Cam already, you gotta understand, Jim had family in 1199 and Cam had family in 1199, and they both had family members over there. So that's how that connection went on, as far as, cause Bloodshed and everybody was over there. So that was the connection with that, as far as being First Avenue. First Avenue, they built up these condos called 1199, and Cam had family over there and Jim had family over there. So when Cam and Digger and Bloodshed was rocking, that was how Jim was able to make that connection, because Cam was going to First Ave and Jim had family on First Ave. You know what I'm saying? At a real young age. We was teenagers though, 14, 15, 16, somewhere in that area. You know what I'm saying?
You know, is the rapping popping yet? Is, you know what I'm saying, Mace and all that?
And lasting impact, while Jim's focus on authenticity as a measure of relevance seems increasingly out of step with the modern landscape. Commentators note that if Jim redirected his energy toward innovation rather than critique, he could reclaim influence in a way that benefits both himself and Harlem as a whole. But instead, he remains trapped in a pattern of reaction, letting pride and ego dictate his narrative. The contrast between the trio could not be starker. Ma Dollar E and Cameron are celebrated for their growth, their entrepreneurship, and their ability to turn Harlem heritage into global recognition, while Jim's repeated attempts to assert himself only reinforce the perception that he is struggling to keep pace. The fallout has created a cultural spectacle, with fans debating, dissecting, and laughing at the dynamic, making it clear that public perception favors those who evolve and innovate. The story serves as both a cautionary tale and a dramatic spectacle, showing what happens when ego and nostalgia overshadow adaptability and progress. And as the saga unfolds, it is apparent that while Jim Jones may continue to make headlines for his claims, the real winners are Ma Dollar E and Cameron, whose legacy continues to grow unchecked, proving that Harlem influence today is measured not by loud declarations but by tangible success, media dominance, and the ability to evolve in a world that moves faster than past grudges. So what do you think? Is Jim Jones really defending Harlem authenticity? Or is he just letting jealousy drive him into these wild rants? Do you see this as a clash of legacies, or a cautionary tale about ego overshadowing evolution? The story doesn't end here, and the drama is far from over. Harlem has always been a hub of culture, power, and influence. And watching these icons navigate fame, loyalty, and relevance is nothing short of fascinating. We want to hear your thoughts. Who do you side with in this saga? Jim trying to hold on to the past, or Ma Dollar E and Cameron building the future while leaving the haters behind? Drop your opinions in the comments, share the clips that made you laugh or shake your head, and let the community weigh in on this Harlem showdown. If you haven't already, hit that like button so we know you're ready for more deep dives into the stories the mainstream won't cover. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started. And you won't want to miss the next explosive revelations, breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes exposes. Harlem drama, hip-hop legacy, and jaw-dropping claims are coming your way. So join the conversation and stay ahead of the story. What's really going on? Who's thriving and who's losing relevance? Let us know.